San Francisco to see what's going on at the Exploratorium. We're going to talk to a few scientists that work here, and we're going to see some of the amazing things that they have going on here at the Exploratorium. Let's go take a look.
I'm Karen Wilkinson, and I'm the director of the Tinkering Studio here at the Exploratorium. My main focus is to really help people see that the world is tinkerable. I know that sounds like a big lofty goal, but I want to offer folks an opportunity to come and interact with phenomena and kind of develop an idea of their own, and then kind of bring that idea into fruition. If you could do a Venn diagram that had kind of art, science, and technology right where they overlap, that is the sweet spot to me. So a way to bring in thinkers, whether you're an educator, a scientist, or an artist, you know, anybody is welcome to come, but some people want to do it for their job or their hobby or something that they want to do a little bit more than just a Saturday afternoon visit or something like that. And we're always interested in meeting people like that. So undergraduate work was environmental design, kind of thinking about those things in museums. I started working in museums, created that detention center space. I had all of this, what I called data at the time. I didn't know what I was doing, but we were videotaping kids in these spaces, and it felt like something important was happening there. So I read a book by Eleanor Duckworth called The Having of Wonderful Ideas. And she was a professor at the Ed School at Harvard, so I was not a very good student, and wrote and said, I was really moved by this book. I've had these experiences with these kids that I've been working with in Minneapolis. I feel like there's something there. Not sure what the next step would be, but I would love to come and talk to you. Made the trip out to Boston and felt like I had to go to school there. So I went for learning and teaching in educational technology for graduate work. And then got introduced to computer science, and sort of one thing leads to another, and then you end up, I guess, in the STEM field. My best advice, I think, would be to start with something that they really enjoy doing, and then kind of doing a little bit of research to find out more. And my favorite example of this is Ji Chi. She was just in residency with us a few weeks ago. So she is a computer scientist at the Media Lab at MIT, and got there because she really loved playing with paper and cutting paper, if you can believe this. So she would do that as a hobby, kind of on the side, but now that is part of her graduate work. She's turned a love of kind of arts and crafts and doing traditional crafting techniques and then putting technology on top of it, layering it essentially. So she's come up with something called circuit stickers that take electronics and turn them into circuits. So she essentially turns them into circuit stickers. So she's essentially, you would build a pop-up card or some kind of craft project and then be able to insert these circuit stickers into your project. So it could light up when you turn a page or pull a tab or change color, or, I mean, it's pretty amazing, actually. Do what you love. And look for others who are doing things, maybe not even the same thing, but connected.
My name is Julie Yu, and I'm a staff scientist and director of the Teacher Institute here at the Exploratorium. My main job here is to run a program that provides professional development for middle and high school math and science teachers. But like all of the scientists on staff, I provide content support for exhibits, programs, publications, anything that needs to be done here that has to do with science, which fortunately is a lot. Right out of college, I was a middle school teacher myself. And after teaching, I went back to graduate school in engineering. I got my PhD, and I came back here to do a postdoc in science education, because this was the place that combined all of the things I loved in science and still education. To get to this point, my undergraduate degree was in chemical engineering, and that prepared me to teach. I taught middle school, so that was definitely enough content background, but I needed all of the other skills that a teacher needs, and the Exploratorium helped me gain some of those. I went back to school because I wanted to learn biology, because I didn't learn much as a chemical engineer, so I did research in biomedical engineering, but my degree there is also chemical engineering. And after that, I wrote a grant to do a postdoc, and that led me back here to the Exploratorium. So we're really lucky to have a number of PhD level scientists and educational researchers on staff here at the museum. The idea of teaching someone how to do something, I think, is one of the greatest gifts you can give anyone. So it was definitely something I wanted to do for at least a little while, if not my whole career. And I'm happy now that even though I'm not in the classroom, I do feel like I'm affecting change in schools and helping teachers do an incredibly challenging job. Whatever you're interested in doing, I think you should pursue it. And if that turns out to be science, it'll lead you down a certain path. If it turns out to be teaching, it'll lead you down another one. And those two paths might just join back together as they did for me.
I'm Christina Yu, and I'm a biologist at the Exploratorium. I actually am the director of the Living Systems Group, which is the biology laboratory. I'm a biologist at large, and I also oversee the direction of the biology program, more or less, and kind of give direction to the work that we do in our biology laboratory. I was in graduate school for a while. I was studying cell cycle regulation, so how cells know when to divide, basically, and I did a lot of microscope work. I asked a lot of questions that you need to use a microscope to answer, and I realized I like doing science. I like the craft of science. I liked working with my hands. I liked the aesthetics and the images that you produced. I wasn't too keen on the academic lifestyle that I saw all my professors leading. So after I finished my PhD, I saw an opening for a microscopist, someone to run the microscope project here at the Exploratorium, and that was a perfect match for what I was interested in. So I did my bachelor's in molecular cell and developmental biology. I started out at UCSD, and then I transferred to UC Santa Cruz. And then I started a master's program at UC Santa Cruz in the same department and stuck around for the PhD. So yeah, so my doctorate is in cell biology, basically. I really liked being able to peer, you know, it's like the opposite of a telescope. You're looking down into this little world, and it's there, but the only way you can see it is if you've got a microscope, right? And it's just this amazing dynamic world. And what really kind of got me was that, you know, you're looking at these cells under the microscope, and they're doing these amazing things, and then you realize it's happening in your body all the time, constantly, and it works like billions of times, and it's amazing, and that it's very similar from one organism to the next. Like the real basics are kind of the same, you know. It's really visual, which I really liked. There's an aesthetic aspect to it that I found really appealing. And you're answering fundamental questions about life too. Just keep exploring, and there's anything magnified is amazing, right? So you can apply it to, you know, biology, or, you know, geology, or physics, or you know, engineering, and microscopy these days is really computational, and people are making these crazy custom microscopes all the time. So, you know, don't be afraid to get in there and be your own engineer and hack your own thing. So the more of that, you know, don't be afraid of the hardware, because that's, you're making the toys for yourself, basically.
We have had a wonderful time here at the Exploratorium in San Francisco, California. If you're interested in some of the things that we saw, or you want to get more information, please contact them at exploratorium.edu. And now you're in the know.